You are looking at the true birthplace of the Palo Alto Rotary Club. The building is a little different than it was then, but this is the site of the Palo Alto Hotel. The first meeting of the 16 founding members was held here on April 28, 1922.
So let's move on to the next important event in this story. You remember the San Francisco Club and its lack of clear vision regarding extending Rotary into Indian territory. You old guys can probably still remember the Stanford Indians, can't you? Well, 8 years after they blew it, a member of the Palo Alto Rotary Club became president of Rotary International, an honor as yet to be bestowed upon the aforementioned San Francisco Club. But I digress. Rotary International reached into our ranks of greatness, not to mention the Stanford University Business Office, and anointed Alman Al Roth as exalted leader of the rapidly growing Rotary movement. During Al's reign in 1930-31, there were 3,349 clubs worldwide with 153,000 members. Al was raised in Ukiah, California, and specialized in running foot races against the local Indians, which may be why he decided to go to Stanford, who knows. Al graduated in 1909 after an illustrious 4 years. He was a member of the football, rugby, and track teams, and president of the student body, all the while working his way through college. Not bad for a kid from Ukiah. After earning his law degree and practicing in San Francisco, he was invited in 1919 to return to Stanford to become controller and business manager. He held that position at the time of his presidency of Rotary International. Al was a charter member of our club, its president in 1924 and 25, and district governor in 1927-28. In the words of his son, Bill, he helped charter the club because he liked what Rotary stood for. In the early years, Rotary presidential elections were open, and Al ran against a well-known Rotarian from New York City. At the convention in Chicago during the height of the campaign, he received word that his son, Bill, had fallen 50 feet out of a bay tree into San Francisco Creek. So he hopped the next Ford Tri-Motor and returned to Palo Alto. When young Bill came out of his coma, Al returned and successfully campaigned to become international president during 1930-31. The highlight of his year as Rotary International president was the International Convention in Vienna. Al's wife and 3 children went with him on his trip of a lifetime. Son Bill remembers vividly the huge meeting hall where his dad surprised everyone by giving his speech in German. It was a time when, due to the Great Depression, the very future of Rotary was in doubt. Al's leadership contributed to the fact we weathered the storm to become one of the world's most successful service organizations. So on the road to greatness, we were blessed by the presence of a great Rotarian, International President Alman Roth.
Jack Power was another of the all-time great members of the Palo Alto Rotary Club. He was president during 1961-62, the 40th anniversary of the club. At that time in Palo Alto's history, an election had settled the tumultuous community struggle over whether or not to construct a crosstown expressway at Oregon Avenue. In 1967-68, when Jack was district governor, Rotary had grown to 600,000 members and 12,500 clubs. Jack was born in Memphis, Texas on January 15, 1914. He skipped 4 years in school and was admitted to Rice University at the age of 14, where he majored in chemistry. Following college, Jack worked in New York, where he loved to visit jazz clubs in Harlem. In the words of his daughter June, During a hometown visit in 1941, he fell under the spell of a high school teacher named Marjorie Stone. In the coming year, they exchanged a few letters, but when he arrived home for Thanksgiving and didn't see her waiting on the train platform, he exclaimed, "Where's Miss Stone?" She'd gone home to her parents for the holiday weekend. He phoned her and asked if she would come and meet him. Her parents said when they put her on the train, "We knew we'd lost her then." They were married next spring on April 4th, 1942. Jack joined the Army and served as a major in the 7th Armored Division under General Patton. He saw heavy fighting in the Battle of the Bulge, where he won the Bronze Star for valor. After the war and a brief stay in Washington, D.C., they headed west. Marjorie fell in love with Palo Alto. They built a house on Mark Twain Street and raised their 3 children, Jack Jr., Judy, and June. It was from the dining room of the house on Mark Twain that Jack launched his new hotel business with Hugh Jackson. It was a partnership that lasted over 30 years. Jack's years with Marjorie were golden. They traveled extensively. A good deal of that traveling related to Jack's lifelong passion for bird watching. The love of his life died early in 1995 after a long illness. Afterwards, it seemed to many of us that Jack's enthusiasm for life dramatically changed. Jack was 83 when he passed away on January 28, 1997. At his memorial service, his longtime neighbor, physician, and friend, and a past president of our club, Bill Clark, had these words to say about Jack. In business and every other facet of his life, Jack was a presence. Gregarious and sincerely friendly, funny, inquisitive, constructive, boundlessly energetic, and decisive. He attacked life with a Texan's self-assurance, the practical approach of a Rice University engineer, and an Army major tested in the Battle of the Bulge. How many of us have had him conclude a discussion about a problem or a controversial issue by expressing his opinion and then adding, "It's as simple as that"?